The last signal. The quantum burst arrived at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station Gamma during the graveyard shift. Most of the skeleton crew dismissed it as background noise, just another echo from the cosmic dance of distant stars. But Dr. Sarah Chen hadn't spent 15 years studying alien communication patterns to ignore something this unusual. "There's a pattern here," she muttered, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display floating above her workstation. The burst wasn't random. It pulsed with an almost organic rhythm, like a heartbeat growing weaker. The station's eye assistant, HFY, hummed to life. "Dr. Chen, the signal's structure matches no known communication protocols in the database. Recommendation: classify as natural phenomenon and—" "No," Sarah interrupted, her fingers dancing across the haptic interface. "Look at the quantum signature. It's degrading too uniformly to be natural. This is engineered, and it's dying." She worked through the night, ignoring the gentle reminders from RIA about recommended rest periods. As dawn broke over the lunar surface outside her viewport, Sarah finally began to decode fragments of the message. What she found made her blood run cold. The Nexus, humanity's representative body to the Galactic Council, received her emergency report with characteristic bureaucratic caution. Sarah stood before the holographic projection of 5 council members, her usual calm demeanor barely masking her frustration. "The Verine civilization is facing complete quantum collapse," she explained, projecting a series of complex calculations. "Their entire star system is experiencing a cascading breakdown of fundamental forces. They need immediate assistance." Council member Drake, a career politician with more concern for protocol than people, raised an eyebrow. "The Verine aren't even full members of the galactic community, Dr. Chen. They're a pre-FTL civilization that will be extinct in less than 30 days without intervention." Sarah cut in. "I've already consulted with the Galactic Council's archives. The advanced species are writing them off as a lost cause, claiming the quantum collapse is irreversible." "Then the matter is settled," Drake replied. "If the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy say nothing can be done, they're wrong." Sarah's voice carried an edge that made even the seasoned politicians take notice. "The quantum collapse isn't random. There's a pattern to it, something I've never seen before. The Verine aren't just sending a distress signal. They're sending us data about the collapse itself. They're fighting to survive, and they found something." She brought up a new hologram, a swirling pattern of quantum interactions that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. "The advanced species are missing it because they're too reliant on their traditional models. But look here." She highlighted a series of subtle fluctuations. "The collapse isn't just destroying their system, it's transforming it. The Verine have found a way to influence the process, but they lack the resources to implement a solution." "Dr. Chen," Drake's voice carried a warning tone, "you're asking us to defy the consensus of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, to risk human resources and reputation on an impossible rescue mission." Sarah's response was quiet but firm. "I'm asking us to do what humans have always done, help people in need, even when everyone else says it's hopeless. The Verine may not have faster-than-light travel, but their quantum science is extraordinary. They've discovered principles that even the advanced species haven't considered. If we help them survive, we're not just saving a civilization. We're opening a door to new scientific understanding." She paused, looking each council member in the eye. "The galaxy thinks they know humanity's place in the cosmic hierarchy. They see us as primitive, reckless, too emotional. But those aren't weaknesses. They're the very qualities that let us see solutions others miss. The Verine aren't just sending a distress signal. They're sending us an opportunity. The question is, are we brave enough to answer?" The council chamber fell silent. Outside, Earth turned slowly in the void, its blue-white surface a reminder of humanity's own journey from a primitive world to a spacefaring civilization. They had faced their own extinction-level events, their own impossible odds. Perhaps that's why they could hear what others couldn't in the Varine's dying signal, not just a cry for help, but a refusal to accept the impossible. Finally, Council Member Zhang spoke, her aged voice carrying the weight of decades of diplomatic experience. The political consequences of defying the galactic consensus would be severe. The consequences of doing nothing would be worse, Sarah replied. We'd be turning our backs on everything humanity stands for. Zhang's weathered face broke into an unexpected smile. I didn't say we shouldn't do it, Dr. Chen. I just want you to understand what we're risking. She turned to her fellow council members. Sometimes the most important scientific breakthroughs come from being willing to risk everything on an impossible idea. Isn't that humanity's greatest strength? One by one, the council members began to nod. Even Drake's opposition wavered in the face of Sarah's conviction and Zhang's wisdom. The Nexus might face diplomatic consequences, but they would face them knowing they had upheld humanity's highest principles. Sarah left the council chamber with full authorization to assemble a team and resources. As her shuttle departed for the lunar station, she pulled up the Varine signal once more. In its quantum rhythm, she heard not just a cry for help, but a challenge to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its political influence, but its unwavering determination to help others, even in the face of impossible odds. The real work was about to begin. Breaking protocol. Deep Space Monitoring Station Gamma transformed overnight from a quiet research outpost into humanity's most ambitious rescue operation. Dr. Sarah Chen's team grew from a handful of researchers to a bustling crew of Earth's finest minds, each drawn by the challenge of solving what the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had deemed impossible. Dr. James Rivera, a quantum mechanics prodigy who'd been labeled too unconventional by mainstream institutions, arrived first. His workspace quickly became a chaos of holographic equations and half-dismantled quantum processors. Next came Dr. Maya Patel, a specialist in xenolinguistics who developed revolutionary theories about non-human consciousness. Rounding out the core team was Captain David Torres, a veteran of Earth's first interstellar missions, whose experimental ship designs had been rejected by traditional aerospace agencies for being too risky. The Varine signal is getting weaker, Sarah announced during their first full team briefing. The holographic display showed the quantum pulse deteriorating, its once steady rhythm becoming erratic. We have 26 days before total system collapse. The advanced species aren't completely wrong, James said, manipulating a complex quantum simulation. The collapse follows known physical laws. By their models, it is irreversible. He grinned, but their models assume there's only one way to interpret those laws. Maya stepped forward, her augmented reality interface projecting Varine data streams around her. The signal isn't just carrying information about the collapse. It's carrying their understanding of quantum mechanics. Their entire theoretical framework is beautiful. They don't see quantum forces as something to control, but as something to harmonize with, which is exactly why the advanced species can't help them. Sarah added, they're too focused on brute force solutions, trying to stop the collapse through sheer power. The Varine are showing us a different way. Captain Torres studied the ship schematics floating before him. We'll need to modify the quantum drive significantly. What you're proposing, it's never been done before. That's why it'll work, Sarah replied. We're not bound by centuries of proven methodology. We can see solutions they can't because we're willing to try things they'd never consider. The team worked around the clock, combining human intuition with Varine quantum theory to create something entirely new. James developed a quantum resonance system that defied traditional physics, using principles derived from Varine mathematics. Maya's linguistics expertise proved crucial in understanding not just what the Varine were saying, but how they thought about the fundamental forces of the universe. Then came the diplomatic complications. A delegation from the Galactic Council arrived unannounced, led by the Arcturian chief scientist, whose crystalline form towered over the human researchers. Your efforts are admirable, but misguided, the Arcturian's translated voice echoed through the station. You risk not only failure, but potentially accelerating the collapse. The Vereen system must be quarantined. Sarah stood her ground. With all due respect, you're trying to solve this problem with outdated assumptions. The Vereen have discovered something new about quantum mechanics, something that challenges everything we thought we knew. Impossible, the Arcturian dismissed. They are a pre-FTL civilization. Their understanding of quantum mechanics cannot exceed our own. That's exactly the kind of thinking that's preventing you from seeing the solution, James interrupted, pulling up his latest simulations. Look at these resonance patterns. They're not fighting the collapse. They're trying to guide it, to transform it. The Arcturian's crystalline structure flickered with what might have been irritation. These theories violate established physical laws. No, Maya countered. They reveal exceptions to those laws that were always there, that we were too rigid to see. The Vereen don't separate the observer from the quantum event. Their entire approach to physics is based on interaction, on harmony rather than control. The diplomatic tension escalated when the Arcturian threatened to impose sanctions on Earth for proceeding with the rescue attempt. But humanity's representatives stood firm, backing their scientists' unconventional approach. As the Arcturian delegation departed, Captain Torres approached Sarah. "They're afraid," he observed, "not of us failing, but of us succeeding, of proving that their way isn't the only way." Sarah nodded, turning back to the quantum resonance chamber her team had constructed. It looked nothing like traditional quantum technology, incorporating principles from Vereen physics that the advanced species had dismissed as primitive mysticism. But in its swirling energies, she saw the future of scientific understanding. "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology," she said. "It's our ability to look at a problem from new angles, to question established wisdom, to try the impossible simply because it's the right thing to do." The prototype quantum resonance drive came online 3 days later, its operation defying everything the advanced species believed about quantum mechanics. As the team prepared for the rescue mission, Sarah sent one final message to the Vereen, using their own quantum harmonics. The response came immediately, a pattern of quantum fluctuations that needed no translation. In its rhythm, Sarah heard not just gratitude, but validation. The Vereen had reached out across the stars, hoping to find others who could see what they saw, who could think how they thought. They had found humanity, and together, they were about to rewrite the laws of physics. The human element. The experimental ship Horizon hung in lunar orbit, its modified quantum drive pulsing with an otherworldly glow that made conventional sensors malfunction. Inside, Dr. Sarah Chen watched as her team made final preparations for what could either be humanity's greatest achievement or its most spectacular failure. "Final diagnostics show the quantum harmonics are stable," James reported, his workstation surrounded by holographic readouts that would have looked like abstract art to anyone trained in conventional physics. "But there's something else in the data, something I can't quite explain." Maya moved to his station, her augmented reality interface scanning the quantum signatures. "It's not just data," she said softly. "The Vereen aren't just sending us scientific information. They're sending us their stories, their hopes, their fears. The quantum signals carry emotional resonance patterns. The advanced species had dismissed these patterns as noise, as corruption in the data stream. But Sarah's team recognized something profound. The Vereen's quantum technology was inseparable from their consciousness, their culture, their very way of being. They don't just understand quantum mechanics, Sarah realized. They live it. Every signal we've received has been shaped by their collective experiences, their desperate fight for survival. We're not just receiving data, we're receiving their legacy. Captain Torres entered the bridge, his experienced eyes taking in the unconventional modifications to his ship. The Galactic Council has issued their final warning. If we proceed, Earth faces severe technological sanctions. They're calling this mission dangerous emotionalism masquerading as science. They still don't understand, James said, not looking up from his calculations. They think emotions cloud judgment, prevent rational thinking. They've never grasped that human emotion, human intuition, is exactly what lets us see patterns they miss. The ship's quantum drive began its power-up sequence, its harmonics sensing with the fading pulses from the Vereen system. Sarah felt a moment of doubt, not about their theoretical framework or their technological solutions, but about the weight of responsibility. They weren't just attempting to save a civilization. They were challenging the fundamental assumptions of the galaxy's most advanced species. Dr. Chen, Araya's voice carried an unusual note of concern. I've detected anomalies in the quantum field. The harmonics are evolving in ways my predictive models can't account for. Of course they are, Maya smiled. The Vereen's quantum technology responds to consciousness, to intention. It's not just about mathematical precision. It's about resonance between minds, between ways of understanding reality. The moment of launch approached. Earth's authorities had given them a narrow window. If they didn't succeed quickly, diplomatic pressure would force them to abort. The advanced species had positioned observation ships at the edge of the solar system, their presence both a warning and a reminder of what humanity was risking. Final systems check, Captain Torres called out. The bridge crew, a mix of conventional space officers and theoretical physicists, moved with practiced efficiency. They had trained for weeks, learning to operate technology that shouldn't exist according to established physics. Sarah stood at the central console, her hand hovering over the activation sequence. In that moment, she felt the weight of two civilizations, one fighting for survival, the other fighting for the right to prove itself to a galaxy that had underestimated it. The Vereen trusted us, she said to her team, not because we were the most advanced, but because we were the only ones willing to listen, to think differently, to take risks for strangers across the stars. Whatever happens next, we've already proved something important about humanity. The quantum drive hummed to life, its harmonics reaching out across space-time in ways that the advanced species had deemed impossible. On screens around the bridge, warning messages flashed as conventional physics struggled to describe what was happening. Multiple quantum field fluctuations detected, Araya reported. Conventional space-time metrics are becoming unreliable. The ship's structure is resonating with something. Not something, Maya corrected, her eyes fixed on the streams of Vereen data flowing through her interface. Someone. The quantum field isn't just carrying our ship. It's carrying their hopes, their consciousness, their understanding of reality itself. As the Horizon prepared to attempt what the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had declared impossible, Sarah reflected on the true nature of their mission. They weren't just testing new technology or challenging physical laws. They were proving that sometimes the most important scientific breakthroughs come not from superior technology or accumulated knowledge, but from the uniquely human ability to empathize, to connect, to see the universe not just as a set of equations to be solved, but as a symphony of consciousness to be understood. The ship's quantum drive reached full power, its harmonics syncing perfectly with the distant pulses from the Vereen system. In that moment of resonance, human technology and human consciousness aligned with an alien civilization's desperate cry for help, creating something new in the universe, a bridge built not just of energy and matter, but of understanding and hope. All stations ready, Captain Torres announced. Dr. Chen, the ship is yours. Sarah took a deep breath, her finger touching the final activation sequence. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you combine human determination with impossible odds. The Horizon leaped into quantum space, carrying with it humanity's defiance of conventional wisdom and its unwavering commitment to helping others, even at the cost of challenging everything the advanced species thought they knew about the universe. Impossible odds. The quantum transition hit like a tidal wave of reality itself. The Horizon emerged into a scene of cosmic devastation that no simulation had prepared them for. The Vereen system hummed before them, its very fabric of space-time shredding apart in streams of quantum energy that defied conventional physics. "My God," Captain Torres whispered, his experienced hand steady on the helm despite the horror unfolding before them. The system's star pulsed with impossible colors, its quantum structure failing in ways that made the ship's sensors scream in protest. Multiple quantum cascade failures, HFY reported, its usual calm voice edged with urgency. Conventional spacetime metrics are breaking down. Ship's structural integrity is holding, but the quantum resonance field is experiencing unexpected fluctuations. Sarah's mind raced as she took in the data flooding her console. The quantum collapse was far worse than their most pessimistic projections. The Varine's final signals hadn't conveyed the full scope of the devastation, or perhaps they'd been trying to spare their would-be rescuers from the true horror of their situation. James, Maya, I need options. Sarah called out as another wave of quantum distortion rocked the ship. The Horizon's revolutionary drive systems were barely maintaining stability in the chaos of unraveling physics. The collapse has accelerated, James reported, his fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. The Varine's quantum network is degrading faster than predicted. We have maybe 20 minutes before total system failure. Maya's augmented reality display flickered with streams of Varine communications. They're still there. Their quantum consciousness network is holding on, but it's fragmented. They're scared, Sarah. They can sense us, but they don't know if we can actually help them. The ship shuddered as another quantum shock wave passed through it. Warning lights flashed across every console as systems struggled to compensate for physics that shouldn't exist. Hull stress exceeding design parameters, Captain Torres announced. We need to stabilize our position, or we'll be torn apart. Sarah felt the weight of two civilizations pressing down on her shoulders. They had one chance at this, one opportunity to prove that humanity's unconventional approach could succeed where the galaxy's most advanced species have declared victory impossible. James, reconfigure the quantum resonance field. Don't try to fight the collapse. Work with it, like the Varine taught us. Maya, I need you to broadcast our intentions across their quantum network. Let them know we're here to help, that we understand their approach to physics. As her team worked, Sarah noticed something in the chaos of unraveling spacetime. The collapse wasn't purely destructive. There were patterns in the quantum foam, rhythms that reminded her of the Varine's original signals. Captain, move us closer to that quantum eddy. She pointed to a swirling distortion in space. The Varine aren't just victims of this collapse. They're trying to guide it, to shape it. We need to sync our resonance field with their efforts. The Horizon dove deeper into the quantum chaos, its modified systems pushing the boundaries of what human technology could endure. Warning alerts blared as conventional physics broke down around them. Quantum drive stability at 18%, HFY warned. Structural integrity failing in multiple sections. Dr. Chen, we cannot maintain this position for long. We're detecting a response. Maya suddenly called out. The Varine network. It's adapting to our presence. They're trying to show us something. Through the quantum noise, a new pattern emerged. The Varine weren't just sending data, they were sharing their direct experience of quantum reality, their understanding of physics as a dance of consciousness and energy. This is it, Sarah realized. This is what the advanced species could never understand. The Varine don't see quantum mechanics as a force to be controlled. They see it as a conversation between consciousness and reality. But understanding their approach was one thing. Implementing it in time to save them was another. The ship groaned as spacetime continued to unravel around them. Drive stability at 12%, HFY updated. Hull breach imminent in multiple sections. We must withdraw or risk total destruction. No, Sarah's voice was firm. We didn't come all this way to give up. James, Maya, prepare for full quantum synchronization. Captain, hold our position no matter what. Full synchronization could overload all our systems, James warned. We'd be betting everything on a theory that the galaxy's most advanced species say is impossible. Sarah's hands moved across her console, preparing the final sequence. The advanced species said this entire mission was impossible. They said humans were too primitive, too emotional, too reckless to understand true physics. But they were wrong about us, and they were wrong about the Varine. Sometimes the most advanced solution isn't about power or technology. It's about being willing to see the universe in a completely new way. The Horizon's quantum drive pulsed with energy as Sarah initiated the synchronization sequence. Around them, space-time itself seemed to hold its breath as human technology and human determination prepared to attempt something unprecedented in the history of the galaxy. They had one chance to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its knowledge, but its ability to understand, to adapt, and to refuse to accept the impossible when lives were at stake. A new understanding. The moment of synchronization transformed everything. As the Horizon's quantum drive aligned with the Varine's consciousness network, reality itself seemed to shift. The chaotic energies of the collapse suddenly took on new patterns, new meaning. Through their quantum link, human and Varine consciousness merged in understanding. Quantum resonance achieving harmony, Maya reported, her voice filled with wonder. The Varine network, it's stabilizing. They're showing us how to guide the collapse, how to transform it. Through their shared quantum connection, the Varine's understanding flowed into the human systems. The collapse wasn't just a physical process, it was a transformation, a metamorphosis that required consciousness to guide it. The advanced species, for all their technology, had never grasped this fundamental truth. Multiple quantum fields converging, James called out, his instruments recording phenomena that defied conventional physics. The collapse isn't stopping, it's changing. Sarah watched in awe as space-time itself began to reform around them. The Varine's quantum network, instead of fighting the collapse, was using it as a catalyst for something entirely new. Through their connection with the Horizon, they were doing what the advanced species had deemed impossible. They were evolving their entire civilization into a new state of existence. Hull integrity stabilizing, ARIA reported. Quantum field measurements indicate unprecedented patterns of organization. Captain Torres stared at his readings in disbelief. The entire system is reconfiguring itself at the quantum level. They're not just surviving the collapse, they're using it to advance their entire civilization. The process was beautiful and terrifying to witness. The Varine sun, which had been tearing itself apart, now pulsed with new energy as quantum forces realigned. Their planets, rather than being destroyed, were transforming into structures that defied conventional understanding of matter and energy. Through it all, the Horizon served as a bridge, its human crew's consciousness helping to guide the transformation. The very qualities that the advanced species had dismissed as primitive, human intuition, emotion, and adaptability, proved essential to understanding and facilitating the Varine's quantum evolution. "We're receiving a transmission," Maya announced. "It's different, clearer than before." The message that filled their quantum communications was unlike anything humanity had encountered. It carried not just information but direct understanding, a sharing of consciousness that transcended conventional language. "They did it," Sarah breathed. "They've achieved what their scientists theorize, a quantum leap in their civilization's evolution. And we helped make it possible." The Horizon's sensors recorded everything, documenting a transformation that would force the galaxy's scientific community to rewrite their understanding of physics, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself. But more importantly, they had preserved something precious. Not just a civilization, but a unique way of seeing and understanding the universe. Hours later, as the ship prepared to return to Earth, the first diplomatic transmissions arrived from the Galactic Council. The advanced species were demanding explanations, unable to comprehend how a primitive human vessel had achieved what their finest minds had declared impossible. "They still don't understand," Maya said, reviewing the messages. "They're looking for technological explanations, trying to fit what happened into their existing models." "Let them look," Sarah replied. "Maybe this will teach them that there's more than one way to understand the universe, that sometimes the most primitive solution is the most profound." The Varine's final message to the Horizon, carried something that needed no translation: gratitude and an invitation. They offered to share their knowledge with humanity, recognizing in Earth's civilization a kindred spirit, a species that understood that the greatest discoveries come not from superior technology, but from the willingness to see the universe through new eyes. As the Horizon began its journey home, Sarah reflected on what they had achieved. They had saved a civilization, yes, but they had done something even more important. They had proved that humanity's place in the galaxy wouldn't be determined by its technological advancement, but by its unique ability to bridge differences, to empathize, to see solutions where others saw only problems. "Send a message to Earth," she instructed ARIA. Tell them that the universe is bigger than we imagined, and we're ready to help explore it." The ship's quantum drive hummed with new harmonics, incorporating understanding gained from the Vereen transformation. Behind them, a civilization that had faced extinction was embarking on a new phase of existence. Before them lay Earth, and a future where humanity's role in the galaxy would never again be underestimated. In the end, they had done more than prove the advanced species wrong. They had shown that the path to the stars would be blazed not just by technology and power, but by understanding, compassion, and the uniquely human ability to reach across the void and connect with others, no matter how different they might be. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity, for better or worse, had taken its first true steps into a larger universe, not as conquerors or competitors, but as bridges between different ways of understanding reality itself.